we'll, we want to see why why the Enron executives doing this. So first, point out that the leader of the Enron, they have a really high appetite for the risk. So the appetite for the risk is not wrong, but they do not have a proper risk management. So there's a story that there's two employees of Enron used to misappropriate of the assets, company assets, into their personal account. The Kinley, which is the CEO, he knows about this transaction. He knows about the employees, but he disregard their dishonor behavior. He did not fire these two employees. Instead, he promotes them. So what he said, they are the only person that make the company profitable. He considered the loss that he fired his two employees is much larger than keeping them. But this is the company's management style tolerate this very inappropriate behavior, so which create the future's potential problems, the bankrupt for the whole company. And the second, the CEO, Jeff Skilling, is very creative businessman, and he has very many great ideas. He also highly like the risk. He thinks the risk can bring more profits for the Enron. So under his leadership, so the Enron is driving like full speed to the iceberg, so without any risk management. So it's really danger for the whole company. And second thing is, at that time there's no enough internal control. So the whole company is under the full leadership of the CEO and top management, and they do not think about how the company should prevent the future risk, like the trading business. They betting on the price of the energy. So they didn't think about what if they have losses after these transactions. So what they did is, if there's a losses, they transfer the losses to Andrew's company's account. So, and the third one is the staff level. No one opposed to the upper management and point out what you do is wrong, and what I think is appropriate, and we should consider our current risk is too high that we cannot manage. No one opposed until later the company is going to fall. So and the Jeff Skilling, one of his another creative idea is the mark-to-market accounting. He proposed that he only can step up as the CEO if the company can have the SEC approve this accounting regulation. And then they did. The SEC approved the mark-to-market accounting, but what they allow Enron to book any future prices to the company's financial statement, which is very subjective and very hard to analyze. Okay, let's go to next. So with all this, create a huge impact for the Enron, and later bring Enron to a bankrupt. So in the bankrupt, what they did, Enron lose like a lot of employees and thousands of employees, and at the same time the loss of the pension fund insurance. So who really suffered is the company's employees. At the time Enron fall, Enron was the 7th largest company in America, as the flag in the industry, as the most creative, innovative energy company. All the stock analysts prefer this company and recommend it. So it's really a tragedy, and so for the public, people lost the trust for the American company, for the whole government, the monitoring system lost the trust for those companies. Looks very profitable, no one doubted, but until Enron is following, that everybody find out they all have this scandals behind it. So regarding the reputation, of course, Enron is a big company, billions of assets. They lost the good reputations, actually they are filed bankrupt. By the time they filed bankrupt, they are the largest company filed in American history, which before the file, the top executive Jeff and Ken Lay, they cashed their common stock. They sold their common stock for cash. So they're trying to jump out of the ship first before telling everybody else. So then the whole company, the employees suffered, and they lost their jobs, lost the pension fund, a lot of things. So it's really a tragedy. And but people think all this is because of the numbers or anything, but it really is the people behind it, because the people is the management didn't find a effective risk management, and they do not control the company in a proper way. So the action required by the courts and the government, by the time they filed a bankruptcy, the federal courts have a full investigation against the company and the key executives, including the Jeff Skilling, the Ken Lay, and Andy Festo, the CFO, the CEO, and because of the Enron's following, there's one of the largest accounting firms also is involved. So they bring the full investigation against their auditor. So for Jeff Skilling, finally, the federal court charged him for the conspiracy, security fraud, and false statements, insider trading, and put him in prison for 14 years. And for the CFO, they charged him for the same reason, but for 10 years. So the federal courts, the government, trying to find who should be responsible for this bankruptcy. Okay, thank you.
I'm going to talk about the proposals and the recommendations to the company, to avoid these kind of issues in the future. So first, coming to the proposals which were made by the New York Stock Exchange, they made 3 proposals. The first one, they say all companies need to have a mostly independent directors who need to comply with an elaborate definition of other independent directors. And the second proposal would be that all audit committee members need to be financially literate, with some members being required to have accounting related financial expertise. This way they can avoid this kind of problems in the future. And finally, in addition to these to the regular sessions, the board of directors should hold additional sessions without management. And coming to the recommendations to repair the corporate damage. So the damage caused by Enron was grave for it to recuperate, but even though its ordeal has long ended, there was so much to learn for many companies that have since changed many of their practices to accommodate better ways of executing better business, to enhance lasting success and avoid any loopholes that can jeopardize the operations and lead to the demise of a whole company. And besides these proposals made by the New York Stock Exchange, there are so many recommendations to make to the company to avoid this similar kind of problems in the future. So the first one will be we can say that the proper and comprehensive accounting procedures need to be adopted by every company to be able to get a complete financial report every end of quarter. in the true picture of the company's financial stand. And in the same way, a comprehensive internal audit needs to be done quarterly to rule out any loopholes that can build financial problems. And internal auditings need to be backed up with prudent external auditings that can identify any oversight from any previous internal audits and accounting procedures. And finally, the risk management policies need to be enforced to regulate recklessness in diversifications, especially when the company is growing big. Sometimes the broader the company ventures get, the more complex they become to handle. Some diversifications can deter progress that creating success. Thank you.
Hello. I'm continuing on the recommendations contained in addition to the ones of New York Stock Exchange. The source says ethical procedures, ethical policies and procedures need to be a constant reminder to all company employees from superiors to subordinates, because when the executives of Enron failed in so many ways, the consequences were felt by all employees, stakeholders, and even communities. Generally, ethically ignoring the trouble spots and warning signs that the accounts and audit can depict is just unacceptable. Any corporate culture is a reward of true ethical conduct that should be applied to approach any situation, regardless the culture where business is being conducted. And these prudent ethical and integrity procedures are core to term sustainable business success that can be achieved. Without them, no strategy can work, and it can cause deeper consequences which are difficult to overcome. So every business needs to enforce and keep reminding all employees, whether superior or the juniors, about the importance of ethics, because ethically the executives of Enron ignored all the warning signs, and the consequences were also felt by the junior employees who had nothing to do if the seniors had ignored the warning signs. Another graphical display showing risk management, because risk warning depicts that any company or a venture a company undertakes, as long as it can't break even within 6 to 12 months of operation, that is, if it can't break even to meet its costs, it should be able to make profit. But if it doesn't break even and just keeps making losses, then it's not worth it. It may not make profit, but within 6 to 12 months, it should be able to break even, at least to meet the overheads of the business without digging into the revenue or causing other companies financial strain. So this other chart still shows the depiction of the break-even points that risk management emphasizes most companies to look at and to follow closely, because the moment a company doesn't break even within 6 to 12 months, then its chance of survival is almost zero. As this one predicts and depicts, over the years, over about 10 years, from 100%, only about 29 companies can survive if they can't break even within 6 to 12 months. So if this 29 also can only survive if it's an expense to other sources of funding more than it's funding itself. Generally, in conclusion, true accounting and auditing procedures do not lie. It's always important to respond to any warning signs that they portray. Any effort to conceal the truth that they show cannot make the situation or circumstances better, but they only dig deep the hole from which recovery is almost impossible. Thank you.